Just let me log on first. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm recording. I'm recording the whole session. All right. Nine. Somebody. Okay. All right. Okay. So for hot cold holding of potentially hazardous foods, potentially hazardous foods are those foods that are high in protein. Um, you have to make sure that you keep the hot foods hot and the cold foods cold. All right. Now, the second factor is dealing with cooking temperatures. All right. We're dealing with cooking temperatures. Um, we're looking at when we are doing food for a lot of people, as opposed to just those persons at home. Normally at home, we will only we will cook for like 4 people the most. All right. So there is a standard for cooking chicken. There's a standard for cooking poultry. There's a standard for cooking um, beef and pork. There's a standard for cooking fish. All right. So when we look at fish, we're looking at 145 degrees Fahrenheit. All right. And this is how we're looking at it. You're going to be cooking the fish. We're going to be taking the temperature with a thermometer. When it reaches 145 degrees Fahrenheit, you're going to hold it for an extra 15 seconds. So we normally say the cooking temperatures, the cooking standard for fish is 145 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds. Isn't that you're going to cook the fish for 15 seconds? We're going to cook the fish once it reaches 145 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to give it an extra 15 seconds. We're looking at reducing the amount of organisms that are on the particular um, high protein food. All right. Now when we're looking at beef and pork, the temperature goes up for another 10 degrees. For beef and pork, you cook it to 155 degrees. When it reaches that temperature, you will hold it for 15 seconds. You would have reduced the amount of organisms there to a significant amount. Now remember that whenever we are cooking food, especially potentially hazardous foods, we are looking at reducing the amount of organisms that are on the food. We cannot get rid of all of the food. Sorry, we can't get rid of all of the organisms. We are safe. You can serve safe food once you cook it properly and you reduce the amount of organisms to a significant numbers. When we get when later on in this particular presentation, we're going to in the new presentation that we're going to do, um, we're going to look at the minimum effective dose of some of these organisms. The minimum effective dose. Now, whenever you're performing any cooking procedures, you have to make sure that once the food is cooked properly, you have reduced the amount of organisms below the minimum effective dose. The food is safe for eating. All right? All right. So, factor number one, we look at risk factor number one, we look at hot cold um, holding temperatures of potentially hazardous foods. And point number two, risk factor number two, we're looking at cooking temperatures. Now, the third one is dealing with cleaning and sanitizing dirty equipment or utensils, dirty and contaminated utensils and equipment. Now, you have to understand. All right, so let me. Oh, Connell is here. All right, all right. So we have to understand that when we are dealing with equipment, when we are dealing with utensils, you have to clean and sanitize them. Remember those two words. We're going to get back to them. We'll be looking in detail at cleaning and sanitizing. All right. When you clean any food surface, you're removing dirt, you're removing soil, you're removing food matter. You're going to be using a detergent and you're going to be using potable water. Potable water is water from a safe source. Now, if you're going to sanitize, you have to go through the process of, you know, getting the food stuff, the dirt, the soil from off the utensil. You want to rinse off. You're going to be using a detergent and potable water. You want to rinse off that lather, and then you want to sanitize. When you sanitize now, you are going to be looking at removal or reducing the amount of organisms that are on the food contact surface. So again, the same method presents itself. When you sanitize, you reduce the amount of organisms that are on the food contact surface. When you cook the food properly, you're reducing the amount of organisms that will be on the potentially hazardous food. I'm making myself clear, Shania?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All the others agreeing with me? Please don't
Yes,
log
sir.
on and
Wait,
then
sir, I got a
say
question.
everybody with me?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Okay. All
Mr.
right.
Rock,
Yes, please.
you know the PowerPoints that you posted?
Yeah, this is Aaron
No, this is Tristan Bradford.
Brathwaite.
You know the PowerPoints that you posted?
Yeah.
Them is all the notes for the semester.
No. That's just for module one.
Oh,
You can have at least 9 more.
all right.
Okay. All right. 9 or 8 more. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have 13 people on, and it is all right. We give the others a chance.
Sir,
Yes, please.
if you have to start, you could start the classes, okay? I would
Okay.
just read the other notes.
All right. By going through this, I guess the others will it's a matter of revision, right? Hello.
Pardon me, sir?
It'll be a
Is
matter
my
of
what?
revision for the. It's a matter of revision for the others too, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So when we're looking at the process of cleaning and sanitizing, we're looking at washing, rinsing, and sanitizing. But there, even though you have a three-compartment sink, there are 5 stages. You will scrape, you will wash, you rinse, you sanitize, and you air dry. All right. Scrape, wash, rinse, sanitize, air dry. Now the regulations relating to the regulations and Barbados relating to to clean and sanitizing to the restaurant. Yeah, the restaurant regulations, health services restaurant regulations speaks to washing and rinsing and sanitizing. And it also states that when you have finished sanitizing the particular utensil or the food contact surface, you should not dry it. You should allow it to air dry. Again, we're going to go in detail when we get to module 6. All right. Now, the fourth the fourth risk factor is food from unsafe sources. That may seem a very insignificant um, risk factor, but it's a very important risk factor in that you're looking at what is obtained from the farm right through until the consumer consumes it. So we're talking about from farm to fork. We're talking from harvesting to consumption. All of the steps in between those two um, processes must be right. The first step must be right in order for the last step to be right. So we look at good agricultural practices, we look at what is obtained on farms when it comes to good manure management, good animal health, and all of that. That's what we're talking about when we're dealing with um, food from a safe source. You want to make sure that for your keeping chickens, that your pens are secured from rats and from birds and other insects, beetles. You don't want to have rats having access to the waters, to the waterers, or to the feed, or not. They would um, make the chicken sick. They also kill the chicken. All right. You don't want birds to have access to the feeders because they will contaminate the feed and make the bird sick. When it comes to processing, there must be a good processing plan, good processing techniques, so as to make sure that the 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 final product is fit for human consumption, and that it can stay on the shelf, whether it is the cooling, the cool temperatures or frozen temperatures for a period of time without spoiling or without causing any problems with respect to diseases. All right. So from farm to fork, the 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 factor related to unsafe sources is very very critical. The final one is personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is the buzzword now. With COVID, personal hygiene has to be up to scratch. Um, when it comes to food safety, the same is obtained. One of the reasons why, in some cases, Barbados has not experienced a lot of foodborne outbreaks is because of good personal hygiene practices um, in some cases. All right, all right. So let's go over those 5 factors before we start the whole presentation. We're looking at hot, cold holding temperatures of potentially hazardous foods. We're looking at um, cooking temperatures. All right. I have finished that one. I think I talked about fish, I talked about pork. I didn't talk about poultry. Poultry has a cooking temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds. The reason why the poultry cooking temperature is that high is because of which organism? Anybody could tell me? Which organism or organisms are associated with poultry?
Sorry, I can't remember your name, but the one that is master.
Why vitamin?
Salmonella.
Salmonella. Right.
Yes.
Salmonella.
And there's another one. There's another one that that is even more prevalent than than Shigella. Let me write it down so that you can see it. I'm going to share my screen. Um, yeah, whiteboard. Share. All right. So everybody can see what is written on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Campylobacter. Now everybody knows about Shigella. Sorry, everybody knows about Salmonella, but the organism that causes a lot of problems in poultry is this particular one, Campylobacter. Remember that. Whenever you carry out any study anywhere in the world, you are testing chicken, the organism that you will find the more, all right, would be Campylobacter, and then you will find Salmonella. But a lot of people don't know about Campylobacter, all right. But United
So
Kingdom in
Saints,
England,
Saints, Saints, since it don't last long, don't worry about Monday. Since it don't last long, don't worry about Monday.
Tristan,
I sticking up. Mm. You could hear that, but you can't hear what he said.
Tristan,
Tristan,
Tristan?
Tristan, turn off your mic.
Tristan?
Sorry about that, dear people.
Turn off your mic.
Yeah. You wanna listen to the conversation before we look at this thing?
We can hear you.
Sorry, I didn't know how it come on. I had that mute.
Okay, all right. You gotta be careful. Sometimes people's mics are mute and we can still hear them. Okay. I never
Whoa.
I never heard it in this class, but my wife told me that she has been in a class already. People's mics were off and she could still hear the conversation. So please be careful.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Campylobacter. That is the particular organism that causes a lot of problems in the United Kingdom. Causes a disease called campylobacteriosis. All right. Um, so please remember, write it down, highlight it, put an asterisk by it, so that you can know that this particular organism causes more problems when it comes to eating poultry, as opposed to salmonella. We ain't saying that salmonella don't cause the problems, but campylobacteriosis, campylobacter causes more problems. I'm going to. Everybody got this written out, so I could clear the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let us look at um, the first. We're gonna look at module 1. All right. The module or the presentation that we did last week should help you to some extent um, with this module 1. Let me share the screen. All right, everybody can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me what you're saying.
How food handling practices cause foodborne illness.
Right. So we're into module 1. I will tell you what to write, okay? So I will tell you exactly what to write.
Okay.
All right. All right. So, um, you don't have to rate this. I mean, saying that when it comes to food, all of us like to eat out. We eat with our friends. Um, when we go for dinner, um, after the theater or whatever, you eat out. When it comes to negotiating and planning, they do it over meals. When you go to certain conferences, there's built into the whole thing a break at 10 o'clock. You got lunch, and then you have another break later on in the evening. Then you have dinner, a supper. People expect good food. People expect safe food. You want to make sure that whenever you're buying food, that the surroundings are clean, and obviously you're being taught, and you expect that whenever you go to buy food, whether it's at KFC, at Uncle Hallo, or wherever we may go to get our food, we want a pleasant service. Now you can, if you're traveling on certain transport systems, you will get food. If when the airlines were flying, wherever you go, well, not in West Indies. If you go from here to Trinidad, they offer you a drink. I never went to America, but I understand. My family told me that you gotta buy peanuts or whatever food you want, you gotta buy or drink. All right. I know if you're going from here to England, they will offer you some food. If you're going from England to when I went to China, from England to China, the host told us that we can come down by the galley and get some food. All right. Even on trains, you can get food depending on long haul trains in United Kingdom and America. All right. If you're a guest at a hotel, there's um, certain provisions made for food. I know how many of you have ever been to a bed and breakfast um, hotel. Uh, you get breakfast, but you have to wait for you gotta look for your lunch and dinner. Let me um yeah, I'll admit this person. All right. All right.
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Sorry, sir. Raekwon told me that Raekwon no call me and told me that he's on his way home. He's stuck up in traffic.
Okay, this is
That was
Leslie.
the same message I was about to say.
Sir,
Leslie.
this is Law. No getting.
No? Okay. Leslie, that's you? Oh no, not Leslie.
It's
All right.
Raekwon. Raekwon
Raekwon.
is on his way home.
Okay, okay. All right. All right. So if you're a patient in the hospital, you get food, fresh food. That's Queen Elizabeth Psychiatric, um, in the hospital geriatric. Um, you get food. All right. Um, all right. If you're residents at a nursing home, you get food. Students in schools and universities, you access Muscovado. Is Muscovado that students get lunch at?
The Apple Cafe.
Okay. Golden Apple.
I mean,
It's
Golden
Golden.
Apple. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, at certain universities, um, the 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 fees the food for breakfast and lunch and supper are all embedded in the school fees. All right, men and women in the military, serving in the military, they also do food. I have had to train um, those cooks who are who are involved in cooking food at the Barbados Defense Force. Some of them will come over to do um, over the past years they were doing like general catering, but in one two instances I was asked to provide training for them. All right, for this one I want you to write. All right, we're looking at the relation between. Um, all right, hold on a minute. Let me let in these persons. All right. The person who is all right. The person who is KI. Key, could you tell me your first name and last name? All right. Is Kiara Greenwich? Hello. All right. All right. Let me share the screen again. All right. So I want you to write down. I'm showing the relation between food handlers and customers and how they can contract certain diseases. You can contract certain diseases through your respiratory tract. You can contract diseases through open sores and cuts and boils, or you can contract um, foodborne illnesses um, from the intestinal tract. Your hands being soiled with feces. All right, we call it fecal oral infection. Can anybody tell me which organism that we look at here lately that can be that can be um, that can be transmitted through the fecal oral route? Anybody? Everybody gone?
I didn't hear that, sir,
Sir, we
please.
here, but that's
Yes, sir. We here, but we kind
good
of
one.
I still kind of confused.
You still confused?
Yeah. You
Uh,
want me to rate this thing right here that you got on the screen?
yeah. You said wrote that. Yeah, you said to rate that. Yeah. So
All right.
I'm here saying that there's a relationship between
There is
the
a
food
tradition
handler
that will need to be upheld.
and the
Yes.
customer. All right, and how they contract foodborne illnesses. So you can contract foodborne illnesses through your respiratory tract. All right, through open sores and cuts and boils. That's why we tell people to cover your hands if you have, cover your fingers if you have any cuts or burns on your finger or boils. Because there's certain organisms that are present in open sores and cuts and boils that can contaminate food and make people extremely sick. We also are saying that there are certain organisms that are in the intestinal tract that if we if our personal hygiene is not up to scratch, they can contaminate the food and cause problems. All right? All right. So I want you to now I don't want you to write down all these figures. All right? I just want you to write down the diseases that are at the top. You can see the cursor here: Salmonella, Campylobacter, Norovirus, S. aureus. I will tell you what is that. All right, let me go back there. Shigella and Rotavirus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want you to write all those 6 organisms. Now these organisms were confirmed. In other words, people would have submitted stool samples or food samples to the to the lab. All right, and they would have isolated Salmonella, Campylobacter, Norovirus, Staphylococcus aureus, Shigella, and Rotavirus from either from the food or from the stool. All right, hold on a minute, please. All right. Everybody has that written down?
Hold on, son. No.
Okay. So I don't want you to rate the figures. I just want you to rate the diseases. Salmonella, the organism, Campylobacter, norovirus, Staphylococcus aureus, Shigella, rotavirus. Now, can anybody tell me which seemed to be most prevalent organism from 2013 right through to 2017?
Salmonella.
Right, salmonella.
Mhm.
All right. And the next one would be the Campylobacter. Now, I don't know. Some years ago, I don't know still, if it is still so now. All right, but some years ago, Barbados used to consume the most chicken per capita. All right. Anybody, anybody ever heard about McDonald's being here in Barbados?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, where it was?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What was
Consolidated
that?
finances, no.
Right, where they sell the cars, it used to be there.
Yeah.
Right, McDonald's. Sorry, Barbados and Jamaica are the only two countries I know of right offhand that McDonald's came to the country and had to leave. All right, and all other countries when McDonald land, McDonald dominates. But the reason why McDonald could not dominate in Barbados,
It's because they're not chicken people.
pardon?
They're not a chicken company.
Right, they can't push out Uncle Haluk because Uncle Haluk they selling chicken. They were selling synthetic fish and hamburgers and all sorts of things. But I've been to McDonald's in China and they sell chicken now. All right, they learn the lesson.
You sure that's chicken or rat?
So you know,
Well,
so China I really feel it's chicken.
um, the
It might
chicken,
be dog.
the chicken, and dog.
You sure?
Yeah.
Sir, you shut down any
Sir, you
places?
are so very sure.
The chicken, it looked like chicken. It had leg and wings.
Sir, what? Anything can look like a chicken.
He sound like he regret hitting him now. No.
Huh? All right. Um, yeah. Yeah, McDonald's learned a lesson. So they sell their chicken. They saw we chicken look like same thing that the whatever I saw for chicken and McDonald's, I saw the same thing in KFC because KFC is big and strong in China too. All right, and I would have frequented those two restaurants. All right, KFC and McDonald's. All right, so here we have Campylobacter and Salmonella being the two most dominant organisms that cause problems. They were what it said here. They were lab confirmed foodborne pathogens. In other words, people got sick. They had to submit either food, vomitus, or stool to the lab, and the lab would have isolated Salmonella and Campylobacter. Now, in the case of norovirus, um, more and more we are seeing some slight outbreaks when it comes to norovirus. As the name suggests, it is a virus. All right, so you can have um, bacteria causing problems. You can have viruses causing problems. You can have parasites causing problems. All right. So norovirus is a virus. Anybody ever went on a cruise? I don't mean what that just left the shallow draft and by think getting road somebody pelt off or somebody beat up. I don't mean that sort of cruise. The one that the 7 day cruise or anything. So anybody went on any of those? Hello?
Sorry, Brett, but if you want to sponsor us that as you know for passing the class, we ain't gonna reject it.
If I had the wherewithal I would sponsor the whole class on a cruise, but
Shoot,
I
sir,
won't
you're gonna
be.
gotta start playing the lottery.
I won't be on that cruise. I don't go on cruises. All right. My family will go on cruises. I don't go. My daughter tell me, "Daddy, it's get to 7 different countries and all that." I prefer to fly. All right. I really am not convinced about cruises as yet. On majority or most of those cruise ships, you have serious problems with norovirus. All
So,
right.
sir, you
Hello.
went all the way China to eat dog, but afraid to go on a cruise?
Yeah. No, no. I say yeah to eat the dog part. I say yeah to eat it. Fly to China. All right.
You already say yes.
And I explain yes, the yes. All right. Um. Yeah. So, cause while I was training, one of my tutors told me, "I'm sorry, you when you take the people normally put any person that dies on the cruise, where to put them? They put them with the drinks. I don't know if the ships have morgues now, but when I was training, and that is like 20, well, 1995, all right, they told me the ships they had no marks, cause it would sound very grotesque and very morbid if um, you go to book a cruise and you might to we got a mark too, you all get on the cruise to date, all right. So as far as I know, all right, they don't have any marks on the cruise ship. So if you die on you get on here, Barris, and die on your way while again in St. Lucia, they gonna put you off in St. Lucia, all right. They haven't got enough mark to carry you all about the place. You get off in St. Lucia. No, they'll
Mr.
put you
Rock,
off. Yes, please.
Alicia said her computer is giving her trouble to join.
Alicia? Alicia who?
Yeah. Williams.
Williams. Okay. All right. All right. Tell her that she can go on YouTube. Tell her to um, Ryle Rock. Ryle Rock, I think Ryle Rock stream or something like that. And she should see a live stream. All right. All right. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check it now. Let me check and see if it's. Uh, Okay, yes. If she type in Ryle Rock, RYLEROCK, she will see Ryle Rock's personal meeting room, and she just see live, and she can access the the lesson right now. All right?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I was telling you that noroviruses cause the most problems on cruise ships. All right. Tiana, Tiana branch. All right. They cause the most problems on cruise ships, right? So I often tell my family, whenever you go on these ships, do not touch the 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 handrails. In fact, every day, all through the whole day, they have workers who are wiping and sanitizing the contact surfaces. So things like handrails, the knobs on elevators and the handrails on the escalators, etc. They're constantly wiping them down because the virus, the norovirus, has the ability to live on those types of surfaces, and they can cause some problems. All right, so you can have something like a 1 or 2 day illness. All right, you can have a 1 or 2 day illness. I your your cruise ruined because for 2 days you have to be You have to be quarantined. All right, you don't want that. So make sure you don't touch the contact surfaces. All right. Now, when we look at Staphylococcus aureus, there's S. aureus. Staphylococcus aureus is one of those organisms that is found on the human skin, in your hands, and your nose, and your throat, and in your scalp, in your hair. That is why we often advocate to to um, put on headwear, restrain your hair, and to wash your hands whenever you know your hands come in contact with your body, because this organism is found on the human skin. Now there are a number of organisms that are found in the human hand, on human hands, and on human skin. In your hands, there are what we call resident organisms and transient organisms. Now, those resident organisms are those organisms that are always there. That's why when I see people eat a chicken, if I say it's finger licking chicken, I hate to see people licking their fingers, because they're always looking they're putting themselves at risk. I don't like to see people biting fingernails. You are putting yourself at risk. All right? So Staphylococcus aureus is one of those resident organisms. But but resident organisms, they're supposed to be hard to come off, but Salmonella, Staphylococcus aureus is one of those organisms that can easily come off your hands. So we beg people not to bite fingernails, not to lap your fingers. Yes, the chicken tastes good. All right, use a fork or whatever. Do not lap your fingers. All right. Then we talk about Shigella.
Sir.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Probably you just said so, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he doing the same thing.
You did doing the same thing. I don't like to see it. That's the truth. I don't like to see it. All right, but sometimes people do it and get away with it, right? All right, Shigella. Shigella is another one of those organisms that can cause severe illness. But you see, in they just had one case in 2013, none none for the rest of the other 4 years. All right. So what might have happened was that there was such a strong message on washing your hands, etc., that people um, had come to the point where they 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 could say that, the lab could say that they did not have any cases. Probably a strong educational program was on during that time. All right, because when we're dealing with Shigella is all right. Let me tell you something. If you go to the doctor and the doctor write up your med- medical certificate, and he or she writes down sugarlosis, don't let nobody know. All right, just fold it up and carry it to um, NIS. Don't let nobody know, because what would have happened is that you would have eaten stool. Shigella is found in stool. But what can happen is that it can survive on doorknobs, it can survive on taps, it can survive on flushing handles. Hence, you have to be extremely careful when you are carrying out those types of activities. So, if the door to the restaurant or whatever, or at school, at college, you have to open it to pull it open. You have to use a tissue. If you're going to be washing your hands, when you're turning off the tap, you should use a tissue, all right, as opposed to using your bare hands, because this organism can survive on doorknobs. It can survive on taps. It can survive on flushing handles, and you only need about between 10 to 12 cells in order to get sick. It is extremely infectious. Hence, we tell people be careful. All right. Then you come to your rotavirus. Again, rotaviruses can cause a lot of problems. It can cause diarrhea. Um, so you have to be Very careful when it comes to washing your hands. All right. Let us proceed. All right. I don't want you to write on this. I'll just talk a little bit on these are now parasites um, that are found in food. All right. Um, you realize that a lot of them have some very long names. All right. Cryptosporidium, um, Ascaris lumbocoides, um, giardiasis. It means that um, the foods that people are consuming might might not be washed properly. A majority of the times, um, it boils down to poor personal hygiene and poor um, washing of certain foods. All right, all right. Everybody like coconut water, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Rihanna answer phone. Who is? No. All right. So I want you to write down these standards. These are the CARICOM standards for coconut water. All right. You have total coliform count, which should be less than 5 by 10 to the third power. You have Escherichia coli. Anybody ever heard about E. coli?
Yes.
No.
Can't
Yeah.
do it.
All right. You have Staphylococcus aureus. We talk about that. Where is Staphylococcus aureus found again? Nobody knows. Staphylococcus aureus. Where you said it's found? All right, we can come to that. Everybody got these three
Not yet.
standards written down already?
Hold on.
Somebody said no?
Not yet. Hold on. Give me a second, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. So the person who is good at maths, can you tell me what is 5 by 10 to the third power? What's that number?
Where is anybody actually really good at math?
Huh? All right. Hold on a minute. Let me admit this person. Five by 10 to the third power is how much?
5 by 10. Where is my math on here?
10 by 10 is 10 by 10 by 10 is how much?
150.
You sure? No. We no. Don't look at the 5 yet. We're looking at 10. 10 to the third power is 10 by 10 by 10. 10 by 10 is 100, right?
Yeah.
Everybody go on.
Yes, sir.
Say
Yes, sir.
no max. All right. And 100 by 10 is how much?
1,000.
Right. And then you multiply by 5, 5,000. So your total coliform count should be less than 5,000. You should have no Escherichia coli. You should have no Staphylococcus aureus. Everybody got this written down, right?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
The next slide is telling you that you should have less than 10 counts of yeast or mold. Your fecal coliform should be absent. What fecal coliform sound like? No, don't give me the grotesque word.
Stool.
Stool, right. Fecal coliform should be absent. And your aerobic plate count should be less than 5,000. We are looking at coconut water. We are looking at coconut jelly. And I'm going to show you some of the things that we are consuming when we buy, when we just buy coconut water on the road.
So you saying, sir, we shouldn't be buying coconut water off the road?
I ain't saying so,
That's pretty good.
but once your coconut vendor, you should watch your coconut vendor and make sure your coconut vendor is doing the right thing, so that you won't be putting yourself at risk. I know it tastes good. I used to drink coconut water, you know. But after I, me and another officer, we sampled some of these, carried some of these samples to the lab. It was horrific what we saw. All right, and I'm gonna show you some of the results. All right, all right.
Oh, so sir,
Mm-hmm.
sir, what about flushing out your kidneys?
Yeah, it's flush with kidneys, yes. But you gotta be careful too. If your kidneys working properly, coconut water will it's okay. But if your kidneys are not working very good, coconut water could cause some problems. All
Oh,
right,
I only got one though, but it working good.
it's
But
working good.
but coconut water, I was advised to use coconut water to flush them out every once in a while.
Right, right, right. Okay. Coconut water is like soft water. The water that we consume in Barbados is hard water. I suspect that that might be problem why a lot of people have kidney problems in Barbados. All right, because of the calcium carbonate in the water are causing all types of ailments in men and women. All right. Everybody got this written down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
I want you
sir.
want you to keep it before you because we're going to use these standards when we look at these figures. All right. So when we talk about total coliform count, we are looking at the extent of fecal matter that is present in the water. In other words, sometimes when you take water samples, there might be some sort of feces in the water. This total coliform count will give you an idea of the amount of feces that would be present in the water. Everybody got that right? Hello? Everybody got that right?
Not yet, sir.
Oh, you're writing it down. Sorry.
So, question: how feces that this is for coconut water, right?
Coconut water, yeah.
How feces that get in coconut water
You tell me.
from the person who's selling the coconut water by
There's,
cutting it?
there's that possibility too, yeah?
So, which means feces would have to be on their hand
Yeah.
On the sword.
or
On the
on
sword.
their knife.
All right. When they cut down the coconuts, when the coconuts drop
On the ground.
on the ground, they might be cold down. There might be all sorts of, feces on the ground.
But I have a hard shell outside unless they're not washing it off. So if they wash it off, it's possible that it still will go in.
But if they sanitize the coconuts, there is a possibility that they can wash off the fecal matter. But if you just pick coconuts and bring them, like say the road and cut them up and things like that, you're gonna serve people a plethora
Uh,
of organisms.
so the time I finish doing sanitation class, I'm going to want food to eat again.
But I was telling you, sir, changing my mind about this coconut water, and I love some coconut water.
I love coconut water too, but you gotta be discriminating. If you're gonna buy your coconut water now, buy the coconut, carry the coconut, wash the coconut, cut the coconut, and use the water.
Oh,
But
I
I am
look for
not.
cleanest man.
Pardon?
I look for cleanest man.
Okay, but you gotta look. You
Very
gotta look
clean.
for the cleanest coconut vendor. All right. Some of them look clean. Some don't look clean. All right. All right. Everybody done right this here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
I mean,
we're
look clean and operate clean and all.
yeah, operate clean, yeah.
Mhm.
We would have trained some of those people, all right. And I'm gonna show you some figures of those persons who were trained and those who weren't trained, all right. So when we talk about aerobic plate count, we're looking at the this will tell you what is the numbers of bacteria that would be in a particular sample. Everybody understand me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
Yes, sir.
aerobic plate count has a unit. So we normally call it coliforming unit per milliliter. So in other words, when we go to a coconut vendor, we ask for a sample. We will get like a liter. We care about a liter carry it to the lab. The lab will portion it out in milliliters. All right. Then they would do their whatsoever, and then when they do their count, they would tell you, well, it got 5 CFUs per milliliter. All right. So it might have 5 organisms in that milliliter of coconut water. Everybody understanding me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
let us look at the next slide. All right. So the total coliform count of this particular water that we sampled was 200 CFUs per milliliter. Is this safe or unsafe? Looking at the definitions that you would have written down. The total
Unsafe.
coliform count. All right. What is the minimum standard? What's the standard for the total coliform count? Remember we
Than
said it's
less
5,000.
than 5,000.
Less than 5,000.
Less than 5,000. All right. All right. Let us look at E. coli. E. coli should be present or absent.
Absent.
Absent. But this body got less than 10 CFUs per milliliter. E. coli in coconut water. How about Staphylococcus aureus? What is the standard?
Absent.
Absent.
Absent. But the body got 10, less than 10. Less than 10 can make you sick, you know. All right. What's the standard for yeast and mold?
That absent too?
1.0 by 10. You should only have about 10 counts of yeast and mold. How much that body got? 1,585. Now you can pick up that water, and by the time you get home, that water is gonna be spoiling because of the yeast and mold. All right. What's the situation with fecal coliform? Should be absent.
Absent.
Should be
It should be
absent.
absent.
But the body got fecal coliform. Then we will look at the aerobic plate count. What is supposed to be the standard?
Less than 5,000.
And how much he
Less
got?
than 5,000.
He got 490,000.
Whoa.
This coconut water that made the other officer went and pick up, you know. We buy it, we pick it up and carry it to the lab. We put it in a cooler with ice packs.
But when I pick out the nastiest looking person.
No, not really. If you see the place that we pick up this water from, you won't expect that amount of organisms in it because the man has used so much bleach that even the tank rusty. All right, the man has used enough bleach. But if you look at his hand and look at on his fingers, you will know that once water come in contact with his hands and with his fingers, that water is going to be contaminated.
He should have put some bleach underneath his fingernails too.
It was better that he cut off his hand. Cause look, let me tell you, his hand dirty. But he used enough bleach. He used enough bleach. All right. Now, this is the person that has not been trained. All right. Let's look at. You like coconut jelly, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, total coliform counts is 15, right? He's way below the standard, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How about
Sir.
E. coli? This is a jelly that got an E. coli. E. coli is found in the stomach. E. coli is passed through in feces, but he got less than 10 CFUs per milliliter. He got some in there. This is jelly that you like, you know. And then he got Staphylococcus aureus, less than 10. Now you should got less than 10 yeast and more, but the coconut jelly full of mold, 1,030. The man even got fecal coliform present in the jelly.
Well,
And for
sir.
the aerobic plate count, which should be less than 5,000, I got 32,500. Everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did he cut out the jelly and give it to you, or you
Yeah.
take it from out of the You took it out yourself?
No, he's
It
taking it.
depends.
So, so he cut off the top of the cut off piece of the coconut shell. I get it to you. You take it out.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That's actually really disgusting.
Okay.
Does it coconut on the ground? You gonna cut off piece and let me eat off of it?
It's
No.
true. You gotta walk with a spoon once you're going for their coconut water. Or
Just like
always,
on the road and just see the coconut man and just feel like eating some jelly.
but you always walk with a spoon.
Walk with a spoon. All right.
I'll
Okay.
put
Now, this sample here that you're saying, this sample of coconut water, was taken for the person who went through a 3-day training. All right. His total coliform count was what? Less than 10, right?
Less than 10.
He
Yes,
good, right?
sir.
All right, but
Yes,
he still
sir.
had some E. coli inside the coconut water, which isn't good. He had some Staphylococcus aureus, which isn't good. Wait, hold on. Hold on. He had up to the standard when it comes to yeast and mold, so it might still get off. When it came to fecal matter, it was absent. No fecal matter. When it came to aerobic plate count, which should be less than 5,000, he had 235. So this gentleman's water was reasonably okay. Everybody got me? Reasonably okay. All right. All right, I'm going to share the screen at some point in time again. All right. Wait.
so where this says you is today.
Pardon?
Where you are today.
Where I
This
am?
background.
Oh, this is that. St. Nicholas Abbey.
Okay. You're far enough.
Yeah, at first when the started was at church. Somebody say amen. Uh, all right. All right, Kiana Hall coming in. All right. I want you to write this down. Let me show you. Sure. All right. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. All right. I want to write down this definition for food. This is the definition for food. Food is raw cooked substances. It's semi-solid, solid, semi-solid, or liquid. It includes is available for human consumption. Includes drink, chewing gum, and any substance used in the manufacture, preparation, and treatment of food. It does not include cosmetics, tobacco, or drugs. This is the definition of food. If you look at the if you look at the definition for food in Dominica, it has the same um, terminologies. I even think this is borrowed from English law. All right. So this is English law, the definition for food. All right. I think in Dominica though, they don't include water. Um, Somewhat surprising. They don't include water in their definition of food. But in Barbados, it includes drinks, it includes chewing gum. So anything that you put into food to manufacture food is also food. Anything that you use in the preparation of food is food. Anything that you use in the treatment of food is food. So you have your um, um, your preservatives, all right, are also food, and your food additives are also food. So preservatives and additives are food. So you put in food additives to change the texture, etc. Or you put in food additives to kill spoilage organisms and to prolong the shelf life of the food. All right? Now, when it says it does not include cosmetics or tobacco or drugs, people chew tobacco, all right? And we talking about drugs. We're talking about we're talking like medication, all right? So your lipstick, your tobacco, your medication, they are not included as food. Now, when you read further down, and we didn't include it in that definition, um, the regulations go on to specify what are the food animals in Barbados. So they would say swine, they would say rabbit, sheep, goat, cow, um, yeah. While in other jurisdictions in England, they eat horse. So horse will be mentioned. Um, in China, what do we write down?
Rats and bats.
Oh my goodness. You ain't that look up.
And dogs and cats.
And dogs and cats. Anything that has feet, which is not a desk, they will eat. Anything that fly in the air except an airplane, they will eat. Anything that is in the sea except a submarine, they will eat. That's what the
Sir,
professor. That what the
gone.
professor told me. He was laughing all the time. I think about one of these times I have to show you um, the some of the animals that I came upon that were found in the market, the supermarket. All right, we're selling frogs for a substantial amount of money. All right, everybody has that written down. But you got that. I would have sent this. I would have sent this presentation, right? Hello.
So you send
Everybody got
this?
everybody got this presentation.
So you send anything?
The ones that I sang, but I can't remember seeing this.
Sir, this one, model.
No, the ones that I sang.
Enjoy the
No, this on Moodle.
What is on? You send it through email?
I send it through everybody
Yeah,
email.
I sent to
Enjoy
some
the email
squares.
addresses. Joy send it.
So you might have to look for your look it up in your email addresses.
And I send
Right.
them in chat too, so just look back.
Okay. All right. Everybody finished right in here though?
But this was this was in the ones that you sent us.
I think so. How many? I sent two or
You
one?
sent three.
Three,
The
right?
one was like questions, and then the other two was like a presentation and something else.
Oh, okay. All right. I will send it back again. All right. I will send it back again. All right. So this is the definition that we are going to be working with. The definition for food. All right. All right. Let's go further on. Good. Right. Okay. So when we look at food handling, we're looking at any activity involved in making food or food products available and ready for consumption. Write down this, please. And this is when we were talking about from farm to fork. All right. We're looking at what's happening on the farm, right through to what is going to be happening when you prepare the food and have the food there ready for human consumption. All of those processes, all of those stages are known as food handling. So you're going to be making the food and the food products ready and available for consumption. All right. Everybody finish here now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to write this down. What is food safety? All right, we're looking at preparing, storing, and or presenting food in ways that reduce the insignificance. You would have heard me mention reducing organisms to insignificance or eliminate chemical, physical, or biological hazards. When you finish, write this particular definition. We're gonna try to discuss this definition in detail. There's a lot of information embedded in this particular slide. All right. Put your mic on mute. Put your mics on mute. Please put your mics on mute. We are recording this. We're recording this presentation. All right. So I want the class rep. The class rep is still Joy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let the others know who are absent that they can go to just go to YouTube, type in Ryle Rock, and you're going to see Ryle Rock Zoom meeting, and they can access particular this particular um, presentation. All right, so for those who have the mics on and the music playing, we don't want that to be part of the part of the presentation. They might tell you holding a party, okay? All right, everybody finish right this definition of food safety.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right, so
sir.
can anybody well let me got some people coming here. I ain't hear them at all. Matthew Howell in? Matthew Howell.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My shot one there.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
done.
Yeah.
You
Know
show
much
me?
about you?
You know much for me? You ain't Matthew Howell that I know.
Yeah, that you teach me this. You teach me this course already, sir?
Yes. Then I wrong
Exactly,
again through
sir.
it.
So I still gotta be in here, even though you teach me already.
Yeah. You gotta attend. Um unless you can show to the authorities that you did the course and you passed the course and you get exemption, you gotta be here, Matthew.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. All right. So, can you tell me how many hazards are there with respect to food safety?
Yeah, so you're asking me that?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, sir. I wasn't disrespectful, right? But I went work last night, so I know wake up. If you understand, so I had dropsy,
Yeah,
so
Dropsy.
I know wake back up. Yeah.
I that poor as a presenter.
Nah, sir. And you.
All right.
Uh,
All right. Can anybody help Matthew? How many hazards are there? Anybody?
Where you say?
4.
4? All right, mention them then.
Chemical,
Chemical.
physical,
Uh-huh.
allergy, and I can't remember
Biological.
the last word.
Biological. All right, yeah. You're correct. You're perfectly correct. There are more than 3, but today we're dealing with just 3 hazards, all right? But what you have said is absolutely correct. You can have allergens, you can have chemical hazards, you can have physical hazards, you can have biological hazards. But we're dealing with the 3 that are mentioned here. Now, you have to understand that you can reduce the significance one of these hazards, or you can eliminate 2 of them. So when you realize that when I was talking about biological hazards, I was keep on talking about reducing the amount of organisms. So when we deal with biological hazards, we have to reduce them to insignificance. We reduce them to insignificance so that they won't cause any problems. There are certain organisms, once they get over a certain amount, they can make you ill. So for Shigella, the minimum effective dose would be 10 to 12 cells. But you want to make sure that when you cook your food, especially your potentially hazardous foods, that the the Shigella that is in the Shigella organisms that are in that particular food would have been reduced to such an extent that you can still eat the food and not become ill. All right. In other words, you are providing food that is 100% safe. Everybody get me? Everybody understand me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When it comes to chemical and physical hazards now, we have to eliminate them. Now, biological hazards are hazards like salmonella, bacteria. You're looking at um, rotaviruses and noroviruses. Those are viruses. Then we talk about parasites, Ascaris lumbocoides, Giardia lamblia. Those are parasites. You have to well, in the case of parasites, you have to eliminate them, all right? Because there's a possibility you might see them. Now, you can also, you have to reduce the biological hazards. You have to eliminate the chemical hazards and the physical hazards. Chemical hazards are like toxins, like poisons, cleaning material that get into food, bleach that get into food. Those are what we call chemical hazards. Physical hazards are like foreign matter. You find um, piece of chaff in rice, or you find some sort of foreign matter in the drink that you're drinking. Those are physical hazards. You want to eliminate them while you will reduce the significance the biological hazards. So when you are preparing food, when you are storing food, when you are presented food, you have to do it in such a manner that you will reduce the significance the biological hazards. When you are preparing food, storing food, or presenting food, you have to do it in such a way to eliminate chemical and physical hazards. Everybody understanding me? Hello?
So you say
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
You want me to go over it again?
so just go back to the biological part.
Okay.
Which food you said?
Now, with biological hazards, you have to reduce them to insignificance. In other words, you will cook the food so that the amount of organisms that are there are killed off, but you can't kill off all. But if there are few there and you consume the few can't cause any problems. So at all times when you're storing your food, when you are preparing your food, you have to do it in such a way to reduce those organisms to insignificance. You can't get rid of them. You can reduce them to insignificance. When it comes to biological, when it comes to chemical and physical hazards, you have to eliminate them. You are going through a bowl of rice that you buy from Chinese and you find a long hair in it. What do? Brush the hair once, say then continue.
You just eat more shrimp and then carry back when you're soon done to get back more.
Can I buy and get another set? All right. You eliminate.
So, sir, when you go KFC and you say here we use do,
Um, I don't eat chicken.
I figure you don't eat chicken. Sir,
I don't eat. I
here
don't.
we
Wait,
say Adiba.
Huh?
you don't eat chicken
Aries.
after China?
There were times I had to consume chicken,
And
right?
that is a yes. You
There were
eat
times.
chicken
No,
after China.
no, I can tell you.
You start eat
There were
chicken after
times.
China.
There was a time I was in Panama, right? And we were doing some missionary work. And when we get to the church, they ask majority of young people what they want to eat, cause they will feed it. They will give us like supper. Obviously, young people tell them they want chicken. So every night they had chicken. Why can't I put chicken down my pocket? So I would eat the chicken. All right, I would eat the chicken.
Sir, but you don't have to eat it. You could eat everything else and left it back.
But look,
Bartender, you don't want that your portion.
no. When you go on missionary trips, right, and people serve you food, to tell them you don't want it or to left back the food is like an insult, especially in Latin America. All right, so you're gonna know the culture, the area. A
Very
pastor
true,
told me,
sir. Very true.
a pastor told me, right, that not a pastor, a gentleman told me that he and a pastor doing some missionary work in Antigua, and he was thirsty. He asked for water, so the lady brings some water to him. And when he looked at the water, it had a mosquito larvae. And he look up at the pastor. The pastor look at him and tell, look, drink all. All right. He asked for water. In Antigua, water is a scarce resource. Just like in Barbados, you can take water and throw it away.
Sir.
Man, drink the larvae and done with that.
So that
I
means, sir,
said,
you could bite your nails and lick your fingers and all of
no,
that there too.
no. We talking about culture. All right, we're talking about culture. There's certain things that are accepted in some cultures. There's certain things that are not accepted in certain cultures.
Oh.
If you go to the Solomon Island and when you done eat your food, if you don't belch, people say, look, that girl on Miley here. You gotta belch hard. The harder you belch, the more you sure that you appreciate the food.
But sir don't belt, so what I mean?
Oh, but they can think that you on Miley, that you're ungrateful.
You got a fake one. Just like how
You got
sir
fake
fake to
one.
eat that rat and thing inside of China.
Chicken.
So,
Sir, Ari say you add back.
give me that again, please.
Aries.
Oh, all right. Hold on a minute, please. Okay, so let's go for this particular definition again. We are saying when you're preparing food, storing food, or presenting food, you have to do it in such a way to reduce the significance biological hazards. While on the other hand, when you're preparing, storing, or presenting
She
food,
the
you have to do it in such a way to eliminate the chemical and the physical hazards. So the mosquito larvae in the water would be a physical hazard. All right. Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right. I want to write down the definition for contamination. All right. So when we talk about contamination, we talk about intended or unintended presence of harmful substances in food. We also talk about anything that threatens the wholesomeness of food. So when we talk about wholesome food, we're talking about good food. We're talking about unwholesome food, we're talking about food that is not fit for human consumption. All right? So when we look at contamination, we're looking at anything that can cause harm to the consumer, anything that can add a harmful substance to food.
Sir,
Yes, please.
we here at school in Liberia and they think that they go federal or something like that, so I don't think we
Wait,
come back
hold
out
on a
the
minute.
class
Hold on
the
a minute.
rest of
Hold on a
the
minute.
day.
Cover that again, please.
I hear you.
Yeah. Repeat what you said. Repeat what you said.
We at school and before your alarm going off, so we gotta leave the class in a sense.
Oh,
Alright, yeah, so you school where you left it? Yeah. Oh, alright. Yeah.
oh, some of you are at school.
Everything, please. The other card.
Some at
For the card
school.
that went out.
Oh,
Some at
okay.
school and some at home.
Okay. 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 All right. Someone must have left on a frying pan. All right.
Or sorry, might be that drill that them is do for the new students.
Yeah, they normally do that. Yeah. Um, let's hope and pray they all do that when they're up there. And if it's a fire drill, well, if for some reason somebody leave on frying pan or anything, so and the smoke get in the smoke alarm, you know, the fire engine gonna come, the fire people gonna come and go through the building and make sure that nothing is wrong before you go back to class. All right. So where do food hazards come from? Food hazards can come from the ear, can come from water, or can come from the soil. All right. There are two organisms that come from the soil. I'm going to I'm going to write them down so that you can have access to them. So hold on a minute, please. I'm gonna put it on the whiteboard. All right. So we're looking at two organisms found in the soil. You have Bacillus cereus, and you have Clostridium botulinum. All right. Two organisms found in the soil. Um, this is found mainly in cereal products. Clostridium botulinum is found in water and soil. Everybody got that?
Not yet, sir. Hold on a minute.
So when we talk about these organisms that are found in this organism that is found in cereal products, what cereal products we talking about?
You talking about wheat?
Yeah, about what?
Wheat?
Weed?
Wheat.
Wheat.
Get mine
Wheat.
Oh
on.
yeah, wheat.
You just smoke weed, sir?
No,
Oh, okay,
never,
just checking.
Never, sir.
never,
Never tried it.
never tried it.
All right, sir.
Who that laughing out? That
That's all.
Tristan laughing out?
That's also.
Oh boy, not me and that.
Why not, sir?
Not me and that stuff. There, there are a lot of things that the human being,
Either I soft just like you. I ain't do it neither.
all right, human beings shouldn't try out, and they shouldn't try to test out their tolerance levels, all right? And weed is one. All right. So yes, wheat and rice and sega, all those cereal products, you will find Bacillus cereus. All right. Bacillus cereus is called. Let me write it down. It's called an aerobic spore forming organism. All right. Aerobic means that it loves air. It will it will it will survive in air. Spore forming mean that under harsh conditions, it will form a hard crust around itself. All right. So take for instance the rice that we cook will naturally having Bacillus cereus. What will happen is that when you start to cook the Bacillus cereus in the rice will form a hard crust around itself and survive the cooking. Now, if you eat the rice straight like that, there is no problem. The problem comes about when you put down the rice to cool down. When you put the rice to cool down now, these organisms will start to vegetate and to multiply and produce um, they will sporulate and produce toxins. So, for instance, a lot of people would have gotten food poison from drinking soup, not fresh hot soup, but soup that would have been put down for a day or two. Because normally what happens is that when people put down soup, they don't cool it down properly. And these organisms form this hard crust around themselves while the soup is hot. When the soup is cooling down, they sporulate and they produce toxins. And these toxins are not denatured by the heat. So when you start to heat back up the soup, those toxins are still there. And you will either come down with a vomiting illness or a diarrheal illness. All right? So there are those people who live in the Far East, in China and in Japan and in Vietnam, that they have some serious problems with Bacillus cereus poisoning. On the other hand, when it comes to Clostridium botulinum, that is found in the soil. Clostridium botulinum is so prevalent in the soil that United States of America stockpile it for biological warfare. All right. Now, one one tablespoon of that toxin can kill up to 300 million people. All right. So some of you would have um, heard about Botox, right?
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
Botox.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
It's from is a derivative from the same organism. Why is use Botox?
Inject it.
To do what?
Tighten up the face muscle, like our skin.
Make your bossy big
Oh, not that one.
Oh gosh, of you.
to enhance like
To
Yes.
if you got wrinkles on your face, it will
Yeah.
relax the muscle. All
oh,
right. So they will give you, they will just give you you know, they give you a certain amount, but they will tell you that the the side effects will be like um you start to step high, you will get dry mouth. There's a possibility that it can cause respiratory paralysis, maybe shut down your heart or shut down your lungs. You might have difficulty speaking, difficulty swallowing. All right. Now, this particular organism is found in the soil. So there are certain foods that we get from the soil, like onions and potatoes and other herbs that must be washed properly before we put them into food. Because there's always that possibility that you can cause Clostridium botulinum poisoning in people. Some of these big fish like marlin and tuna can also manufacture this particular toxin in their body. So again, um,
So the
you
bigger the fish, the better parts of it.
there's a possibility that the bigger the fish, yeah, you're normally finding the big fish. But
Okay, I love
you're
heart.
also talking about you're also talking about um, cicateria poisoning that can be found in big fish like sharks and barracudas and snappers. So what happens is that you have the barnacles that are poisonous, and the little fish eat the barnacles, and then the jats will eat that fish, and then the snappers will eat the jats, and it goes up the chain like that. Now what happens is that the more poison the fish take, the more it stores in its body, and the higher up the food chain, and this includes man. When human beings now eat those fish, they can become, they can be actually poison. So,
But
huh?
I honestly, so you that was right. No, after this class, we ain't gonna want to eat nothing because I love a piece of shark.
Well, well, a shark is the swine of the sea. Wherever the pig eat by land, the sharks eat in the sea. It's
Thanks, here.
scavenging, right? Um, yeah. So that's why if you catch a barracuda that is like over 100 pounds, I think maybe over 50 pounds, you don't touch that barracuda. That barracuda eats so much lead, all right, that you could become lead poison. And if you catch one that's like 25 pounds or so, you don't eat the head. You spit away the head because they can store certain poisons in different parts of their bodies. All right. So, like the melts and the roes, especially melts. All right, they can store the poisons, the toxins in in the melts. So you have something called histamine poisoning that you can pick up from fish.
Sir,
Yeah.
what you just eat?
But I like fishing. I love fishing. I got 5 fishing rods, so I just read up a lot about fishing. All right, but you gotta be careful. You know, you gotta be careful when you use that fish. All right, especially the commercial fishing. You have to make sure that whenever you catch a fish, you put the fish in an ice box or anything so with ice to slow down the manufacture of this histamine. All right. Now, once you can get out the gut, the offal, then it is perfectly safe, and you have to pack that cavity with ice. So yes, I eat fish, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that if you don't store the fish properly, if if the fish is not stored properly, you can still cause problems um, with toxins. Um, and we can look at toxins later on in this particular presentation. All right. So the two organisms that are found in soil will be Bacillus cereus and Clostridium botulinum. You don't find them in in the gut of human beings. You find them in soil. All right. So we talk about yes. Last week we talked about those organisms that are found, um, those good bacteria that is found in the gut of human beings. That's used for manufacturing of yogurt and other probiotic foods. Then we talk about salmonella that's found in the gut. Then now we are talking about those organisms that are found in the soil, Clostridium botulinum and Clostridium botulinum and Bacillus cereus.
So
Yeah.
this performing thing. So say I make soup or something like that and I leave it to cool down and wrong this side of the rim where the soup was, that would be the spore forming.
No, no. No. Those organisms are always look. You say you're cooking soup, right? You say
Yes.
soup. All right.
Uh-huh.
All right. You do dumplings,
Yeah, I could cook.
right? You do dumplings. Dumplings made from flour, right?
Yeah.
Flour is a cereal product,
Yeah, I
right?
think
You
yeah.
will find Bacillus cereus in flour. All right. Once you add in potato, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and they come from the soil.
Yes.
And if you don't wash the potatoes well, what will happen?
If you don't wash that?
If you don't wash the potatoes properly, and you put the soil in there, you're gonna get problems, right? In the soup.
Oh, that is what you're talking about?
Yeah, I done yet. You put that onion too, right?
Yes, you gotta season it.
Right, you
And
gotta
so
season
on.
it. But if you don't wash the onion good, tell me what gonna happen.
Oh, okay.
All right,
The
when you
onion.
boil the soup now,
That man
those
stop when from eating so much food when they start eating grass.
all right, all right. Now, when you start cooking the food now, all of those organisms, especially bacillus organisms, are not killed. They form
So
a
it
hard
can't it
crust
can't it
around
can't be
themselves.
killed. So it can't be killed by heat.
No, every time that they are stimulated by heat, they form a hard crust around themselves. The only time you can kill them is if you use steam. All right? But not what I said earlier. If you drink the soup when it's hot, no problem. You drink the bacteria, you drink whatever, the encrusted bacteria, no problem. You ain't got no problem. But when you leave the soup now to cool down, and you know soup to stick long, especially if it thick. You stick in your soup with?
I don't take no soup.
No thick. I ain't gotta drink soup that thick, man. Can't drink no watery soup.
Either pumpkin or
I ain't
split.
saying it
Pumpkin
watery.
or split peas, more bacillus cereus. Split peas come from the ground.
Yeah,
Pumpkin come from the ground.
all peas come from the ground.
Yeah, and they are going to have bacillus cereus. So you leave it to cool down, and it can take 4 and 5 and 6 hours, rather than you cooling it down yourself, where you put it in a ice bath, or put some water inside the sink. And you put the pot down the sink and cool it down fast. What's going to happen is that you are going to shock the organism. The organism was in a hot environment. Now you cool it down fast. You're going to shock the organism so that it does not become viable. Then you put it in small containers and put some in the freezer, some in the refrigerator. So the one that you want for tomorrow, you put in the refrigerator, and when you heat it up, no problem, because all of those organisms would have been denatured and shocked. But if
So
you leave it, hello, yeah.
question. Like say you make soup and you put it in the microwave and forget it till next day. You know it does look like it start bubbling and so on. Would that just be?
That's spoilage organisms inside the food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Once it start to bubble and produce gas, that is spoilage.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So next week we can continue with this particular lesson. Just let me take a take an attendance. All right. Let me.
Girl, don't forget, people had to leave because of the fire drill.
Yeah. So I have them already
Oh.
already mark as present. All right. NICOV. That's who.
That's Chanel Low.
Chanel Low. Okay. LOW. Low. Chanel. Okay. All right. Yeah, I have you there. Kiara. Um, girls fat number 33. Who was that? Oh, Rakilla. Hope. I got your present. All right. Jessica Thomas, I got your present. Yeah. Anderson. Yeah. All right. So I would have had 21 out of 32 attending today. All right. Some people were had
Mr. Rock,
yes, please.
we're sending you the quiz thing when we finish.
No, what I want you to do, all right? Print it out, do it, and leave it inside the resource center for me. Tell them I'm gonna pick it up. Mr. Ryle is gonna pick it up. Um,
Oh, because I emailed mine to you.
Me too.
oh my.
Seems, but I have write it out. But anyways, when you want us to drop it in, boy?
So I was told by Shania that you coming in on Tuesday, so drop it in there on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody get that?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Aaron is here. Aaron gone.
He was at school in labor, so he probably gone for the
Oh,
fire drill.
okay. Cause I need some more information on Aaron. I need his email address so that I can send him information.
I think I had I think I had forward.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Sir,
Yes, please.
what quiz is this y'all talking about?
Um, this is a quiz that I would have sent to you some time ago. All right, hold on. There's a
The
full.
one that gets in each chat, Jessica.
I don't know about that.
You know what?
I just send it in chat. I gonna forward it to you.
All right.
Who?
It's worth 30 marks. I need to get some marks in the book as early as possible. All right.
That's smart, yeah.
All right. So just tell everybody.
Sir,
Those
you saving a Jupiter?
it
Next
was
week,
supposed to be
Tuesday.
due for the 5th for Monday, but
Okay.
you're not gonna be at school on Monday because I
So
normally
Tuesday.
I'm normally there on Monday, so I will pick it up later on in the week. But please let those other persons in the class who have not attended as yet. All right. Um, let them know to do the quiz so that I can have some marks. All right.
Yeah.
There's somebody that was talking a lot last week that I didn't see. What's his name?
Leslon?
Not Leslon.
Give me a red one.
Oh, that rare one that gets stuck up in traffic.
Okay, Jordan. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let them know also that they can go on YouTube, type in my name, and they will see the presentation there.
Okay, all right, no problem.
All right. So
Sir,
yes,
I
please.
see forward your email to the others, but Aaron's email should be in there.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much. When I was looking through the students' ID, the normal ID have 6 digits, right? I say some people
0,
with only
2,
three,
7, 6, 0, 9.
and some with four.
7.
Seven
Supposed to be
digit.
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
0 times 76, 0, 9 is 9.
Okay. All right. You see, uh, you have a rare Arthur.
Mm,
Very
same
never
time
stop.
class.
Oh, okay. A rare Arthur sound like one of my cousins. All right.
Sir, I
Yes,
don't
please.
think she can school with me no more.
Oh, okay.
I know a red aqua. If it's she's same person.
She went to school at Commere.
No, she went to school at Lebanon. That's the one.
That's the one. Okay. All right. So I believe by um by next week we should have the attendance should settle out as to who the persons that are present in the class, so that I can have a proper record just in case they ask. All right. So
It had
thank you.
a new girl today. She was in this class.
Shanova.
Anybody?
No idea.
You got answer let's on.
There's
Okay.
one.
Let's on in here.
Here. I see that's long.
Social life is Watson.
Watson. Okay.
You may have to get her information, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. So thanks a lot for being present today. Um, what I would have done, we started doing some revision at 2 o'clock, because wasn't there the first time. All right. So that by the time you came in, I had already started on the presentation. But thank you very much for being here. If you need to do your revision, remember you can go to YouTube and you can access the presentation for today. So have a pleasant weekend. Be safe. It looking like we're gonna be in trouble with respect to Corona again. So you gotta be safe. Put on your mask. If you ain't gonna go out, don't go, because I get 2 calls today from people who came in contact with um with a positive COVID person. Those persons work at. I know one person work at a supermarket, so they would have come in contact with other people. All right. So please be careful.
Standing
So
home tonight though. I was planning to left home, but it's standing home.
Please be careful.
there's a
If you
community
go,
spread.
pardon?
There's a community spread.
I suspect that it like increasing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
because I saw something that two people came in contact with somebody who was positive or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
One of them work at a supermarket.
What the hell?
All right. So we gotta be careful. Keep on your mask. Maintain social distancing. And if you ain't gonna go out, don't go out. All right. Okay. So have a nice weekend and be safe.
You too, sir.
You
Everyone.
too, sir.
Sorry, you too.
Yeah.
You
Thanks.
too.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.